Welcome to part two. Yeah, I was going to school like that. You know, there was no changing. I guess I could have went in the bathroom when I got to school and took them off, but then someone would probably come in and see me taking them off. I don't even I don't even think they had doors on the stalls in the restrooms at that school. I can't remember for sure, but I didn't want to risk getting caught by taking them off in the bathroom and somebody coming in on me when I was doing it, or seeing my hosey feet in the stall of the bathroom when I was taking my pants and shoes and socks off. So I didn't really want to do that. But I mean, I'm going to school that morning and I'm kind of, stressed out, because I'm wearing pantyhose and I'm afraid I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get busted. And they're going to make life a living hell for me. So, yeah, that was the situation going to school. That was my mindset. I was really stressed out. And so I just kind of like said to myself, well, what we're going to do when we get to school is I'm just going to focus on doing my work, my assignments. I'm not going to think about the fact that I've got pantyhose on. And hopefully the day will go by pretty quick. And, when I get home this afternoon, I can take them off and never do this again, because it's too nerve-wracking. But that wasn't possible. It wasn't possible for me to not think about having pantyhose on in my pants, because I noticed when I got up and started walking, I could feel them on my legs. I could feel the support hose massaging my legs as I walked. And that kind of tormented me. It was kind of sexy, but it was kind of mentally tormenting. And so yeah, I was kind of being tormented there with this. And but I got to school. I remember my homeroom class just being really stressed out about the fact I had pantyhose on and being afraid of getting caught, getting busted. And I can remember that someone had said that in one class, some kids' money had turned up missing, so they had the teacher had all the kids in the class take off their shoes and socks to see to make sure if none of them had the money and were hiding it. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh my, I hope something like that doesn't happen. That would suck. I get busted. Maybe I could run to the bathroom, but they wouldn't let me. I think I'd run to the bathroom and take the pantyhose off, but I don't think they would have let me do that. So I was like, I hope that nothing like that happens. But I remember leaving homeroom, walking my first period class, and I can remember that I was still tormented. The pantyhose are massaging my legs as I'm walking to first period. My homeroom class was on the second floor. My first period class was downstairs. I had to walk down the hall, down the stairs, and the pantyhose, the support hose were massaging my legs all the way. And I remember passing this girl in the hall. She was wearing like a denim jacket and a denim skirt and white pantyhose, just like me, except she was wearing hers openly with a denim skirt. And she had like white socks and white, like white high top shoes. But she was wearing her white hose openly. And of course I had mine under my jeans. But we both had white pantyhose on. And I was thinking, oh, the irony. Me and her both wore white pantyhose today. And I'm walking through the school, going to my first period class. I'm thinking, oh no, I hope none of these people find out. I'll get my butt kicked and made fun of and all that. So I was kind of stressed out. But the next memory I have of that day was third period. Third period was on the second floor of the school. I remember there was a window in the back of the classroom, and I remember I was looking out, noticing how cold it seemed outside that particular day. And by about third period, I started to loosen up. I started loosening up and like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna get caught. And By the way, tell me if you like my coffee bean pantyhose. Leave a comment. But yeah, I began to realize in third period that I wasn't going to get caught. And I actually got so bold in third period that I was I was shoe playing under my desk. If you don't know what that means, and then you can look it up. But I was shoe playing under my desk. And I remember the girl sitting in the desk next to me across the aisle noticed that and was saying something to another girl and pointing her pen out at my feet as I was shoe playing. And I had pantyhose on under my socks. If I hadn't had socks on over the pantyhose, she would have seen them. I remember her pointing her pen at my feet as I was shoe playing. And so yeah, I was starting to loosen up. And the next thing you know, hey, the day's over. We're on the way on the school bus going home. And I knew, like that morning, I said, I'm going to go home and take these things off and never do this again. But by that afternoon on the way home, you know, after I didn't get caught, didn't get busted, I got real bold with it. I was having fun with it. I was getting bold and having fun. And on the ride home from school, I knew that this is something I'm going to be doing more of in the future. And I did. I actually wore pantyhose to school quite several times, particularly when I was in the 7th and 8th grade. Now, maybe not as much in the 9th grade and not as much in high school, because in my junior and senior years, I had PE all year long, so I really couldn't wear a pantyhose then. But in my junior high years, 7th, 8th grade particularly, I did wear a pantyhose a lot. Mostly those white nursemaid support hose. But sometimes I wore like suntan, or like I wore some black leg sheer energy ones one time. So I mean, I wore pantyhose under my jeans, and I don't know why I didn't talk about that in my previous videos when I was talking about my history of wearing pantyhose and cross-dressing, but I definitely did. I wore pantyhose under my jeans to school, and for whatever reason I just didn't talk about that earlier. But I thought, since I've taken a vacation today, why not make a video, come down here in the mud and slop and make a video talking about it. So anyway, that's the story of that. And I also want to tell one other quick story. I don't know, maybe a couple. It won't take too long. But I did a video, I don't know, maybe it was about a couple weeks ago, where I talked about I was called Pantyhose and My Sexuality, and I talked about how I got my first girlfriend. Her name was Phyllis. You know how I had her in gym class in the 7th grade. And how she asked me, she took a liking to me and eventually asked me out, and then I said yes, and we went out for a little while until her family moved away. Well, that was the same year, 7th grade, that I wore pantyhose under my jeans. And I think when I wore pantyhose under my jeans, I think Phyllis had moved away by then.